Tom, give me one of your runs.
So I'm going to lump two of these together because I caught the end of one and the beginning of another. So I did the bulk of my watching on, actually, I guess it was last night. So Friday night. So I watched probably 2.5 to 3 hours in a row of runs, and it was all Mega Man. So it was Mega Man night. And my wife was watching along with me.
Oh, that's the best part.
Which was terrific. Started off with Rockman 4, and I caught like the last 10 minutes of that run. And
now, do you know why it was called Rockman instead of Mega Man?
So my understanding is that this is like a ROM that somebody built using like Mega Man assets specifically catered for speedrunning, something like that.
I have no idea.
Or it's supposed to be a harder version of Mega Man, like, but they use all the same assets, except the game doesn't actually star Mega Man. It stars Proto Man, that I didn't even know Proto Man existed, because Proto Man can slide apparently or something, and it's supposed to help you traverse faster. I don't know. But the only note I have for the entirety of Rockman 4 is that every time something presumably impressive happened, there was a nice smattering of golf claps, and I laughed every time it happened.
That's the thing that kind of diminishes the more you watch these things. Is at first you can't get over the fact that people clap when somebody does something in a video game. It's like so surreal. But now, like, I don't even bat an eyelash, and I kind of regret losing that about myself.
And now it seemed like the crowd was fairly large for this night, or apparently a lot of people had shown up to specifically see all these Mega Man games get run, because it looked like the room was pretty full all night long.
There is definitely a prime time to these things.
Now they go all night too, right? It's 24 hours, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and that's when you see the freaks.
I was
there you go.
I should have just randomly turned it on, or 3 or 4, and see what was going on and who was there. But so I saw like the last 10 minutes of Rockman 4, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of impressive. Like, you got to be able to react quick, and you know, there's some real like physical things you need to be able to do in order to run these games or whatever. And then I found out that it was going to be Mega Man games all night. So it went from Rockman 4 to Mega Man 10. And a guy by the name of Slurpee Ninja was running Mega Man 10. And apparently Slurpee Ninja has a lot of fans, because they kept donating and telling him like, oh, you're going to do great in your run. You're so good at this game, blah, blah, blah. Also, oddly to note, he was playing Mega Man 10 on the Wii. I don't know what controller he was using because I couldn't see, but I was very interested in that. I believe he was using a Super Nintendo controller, which I thought was kind of weird. But I wrote down 2 notes for this Mega Man 10 run. And the nice thing about the Mega Man runs is that they're only about like 30 to 40 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of digest a bunch of them in a row, which is exactly what I did. I wrote down 2 notes for Mega Man 10. When Slurpee Ninja defeated Chill Man, somebody on the couch made a Netflix and Chill Man joke to no reaction whatsoever. It landed like a rock, and I died laughing.
Well, that's because it involves something that wasn't video game related, and instead was relationship related. So of course it didn't land.
So
don't worry. If it was a meme, like when they say YOLO swag, it would have got a laugh.
Yeah, right.
The problem is that they haven't memeified Netflix and Chill yet. Maybe by SGDQ 2016 they will.
I thought it was pretty funny. I laughed pretty hard. I wrote it down. Then there was another. So throughout the course of my watching, throughout the entire night, this is what got the biggest laugh. So Slurpee Ninja's getting toward the end of his run, and a donation comes in. It was a $10 donation that was from, supposedly, Slurpee Ninja's grandmother. And she's like, oh, I hope you do well. You know, good luck on your run, granddaughter. And the whole crowd erupted into huge laughs because they said granddaughter instead of grandson. And it was the biggest laugh I saw the entire night. I was like, this is insane. What is happening?
It must be a meme.
It has to be, because I don't understand how else it would have gotten such a huge laugh. I mean, it was throughout everything I watched. That was the biggest laugh, was saying granddaughter instead of grandson from Slurpee's imaginary grandmother donating $10.
I mean, I want to unpack that a little bit. So do you personally think that the grandma messed up and put granddaughter? or
I think it has to be a meme. Otherwise, I don't think it would have gotten such huge laughs.
so you don't think it was his actual grandma slurping Ninjas?
No, I don't
like
think
Grandma Slurpee.
And I don't think it was like a typo or something. I think it was specifically referencing something else. Is the only thing that makes any sense to me. I mean, all of the donations in general were pretty hilarious because there would be like humongous non sequiturs in the middle of them, where they would be like, donating $25 for my aunt who died of breast cancer. And then it would be like 10 memes in a row.
That's
Or
the AGDQ
I just lost
experience.
my sister to cancer this year. 15 memes in a row.
I think a lot of these donations are made up, and I think that people just overload it with like, oh, I knew this guy who died this year, and this guy, and my aunt, my mom, and my dad. Kill the animals. Keep on trucking. Where's the beef? Because they just like want to get it on the air. That, or there's like an epidemic of cancer in this country.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, Tom, here's what I'm excited about your Mega Man run. You got the like entire real GDQ experience in this Mega Man night. Like you saw 30-minute chunks, you saw the donations being read.
There's a meme you didn't understand.
Yep.
Yeah, you got a big laughs, you got the golf claps. That's the real GDQ there. That's the meat of what it normally is. Like a week of that.
It's authentic.
And I could tell that you're not as soiled to it as we are. We're like over it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, like through Mega Man 10, I was still sort of fascinated by the whole thing.
Right, exactly.
Where again, I felt like a voyeur peering into a world that I'm not allowed to be a part of. So there was a sense of excitement there. It's when we get to the next one, Mega Man 9, that my views started souring.
So, I just want to say, you watched Mega Man Night last night.
Yes.
I watched Thursday night, and I thought that was Mega Man Night because I watched like 3 Mega Man runs.
Yeah, they have several blocks of Mega Man, and then for some reason the one was called the Mega Man block, whereas the other one clearly wasn't, even though it was like also 6 Mega Man games in a row. But those are Mega Man 0 and Mega Man ZX, so they're totally different.
So immediately, I ended up watching everything that happened in between 10 and 9. And that's when I saw the girl with the coat put her hood up, and they were giving away a bunch of raffle prizes, like a
perler.
Yeah, it was like a Sega Genesis cartridge of like Mega Man, I don't know, 5 or 6 or something. I don't know. I don't know any of these
for those
games.
that don't know about the Mega Man universe.
They were giving away some good stuff too. So how do you win the raffles? Are those like people who are in attendance? How does that work?
If you donate a certain dollar amount, you get automatically entered.
Okay. And of course, they were playing like the terrible video game music in between. And the thing is, the video game music was so much louder than the actual audio, like from the commentators and stuff. So at one point, you couldn't really hear anything of what the guy was announcing when he was announcing donations, because it was so drowned out by the crazy video game music. And actually, at one point, I had fallen asleep. And then the video game music started, and it totally like blew out my speakers, and it jolted me awake. And I said, "Oh, I need to keep taking notes on this." So I took a note that I fell asleep before Mega Man 9 started.
Good. I appreciate that.
So Mega Man 9 was a race. And it was a race between the Blacktastic and Slurpee Ninja, who had just run Mega Man 10.
Now you have opinions on Slurpee Ninja at this point, right?
Yes. He is like a mannequin that they propped up in front of the screen to just press buttons at certain times.
Right.
So do you want Slurpee Ninja to win because of this fact?
So at this point, I kind of do, because he didn't have a great run in Mega Man 10, from what I understand. He failed at a couple of certain specific points that are real tricky. He got screwed on like 2 or 3 times. So I kind of felt bad for the guy. And like people kept making donations trying to boost him up, saying like, "Oh, you're great, Slurpee Ninja. You're going to be fine. You're going to rock this run," or whatever. And he clearly didn't. He finished like 4 or 5 minutes off of his target time or whatever. So I knew
he went over.
Yes, way over.
Wow.
Like 3 minutes over.
Run.
So I knew he was feeling pretty dejected. So I kind of thought like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I wonder if he's going to be able to redeem himself in this race. I wonder if maybe he can run Mega Man 9 better. And the thing about the Mega Man 10 run is that all they did the whole time, especially as Slurpee started doing worse and worse, was they started switching from talking about the actual run to talking about how supportive the speedrun community is. And at one point I started to tally how many times they said the word community, and I was up to like 15 or 20 by the time I stopped. And that was within like a 10-minute period.
That's great.
So it was all about support for Slurpee Ninja at this point. And then when Mega Man 9 came on and I saw it was a race, I said, all right, this is his chance. This is his chance to redeem himself. And my understanding is that a lot of people really love the Blacktastic, and he is a really good Mega Man runner, so it was going to be tough. And as it turns out, I never realized how similar all the Mega Man games are, to the point where like I saw them playing Mega Man 9 and I didn't realize it was a different game until they said it was a different game. Because at first I was like, oh, this is interesting. So they're going to let Slurpee rerun this game against somebody, even though he just lost. Then it turns out it was a completely separate game, which I did not know.
You're not too crazy to suspect that, because they do actually do things like that where they'll run Super Metroid and then it'll be like, oh, it's a 2-player 1-control thing. And then they'll immediately follow it up with another Super Metroid race.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they do that. I think that was supposed to be going on, I think today. They said they were going to do a 2-player 1-controller race in Mario Kart 8. And my wife was very interested in hearing about how this was going to be accomplished. So would it be one person like on a joystick and the other people hitting like the actual like letter buttons? How does this work? Okay.
Yeah.
And they just like share one controller?
Yeah. It's one of those things where you go, ha. And then like 5 minutes pass and you go, okay, well, there went the novelty.
You're still watching 2 hours of Mario Kart.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I have, let's see, I have 2 specific notes on Mega Man 9 because I was getting really burnt out on Mega Man by this point because I had essentially watched 3 full runs of Mega Man games at this point. So at one point, there was some sort of villain, and I don't know who it was, but there was some kind of reference to bees with the villain. And when they beat this guy,
I'm eating this up.
there was a human, like, okay, so you know when you go to like Rocky Horror or you go to the room and people yell stuff at the screen?
Yeah.
This is what was happening with this run. There was a rousing not the bees reference at some point when this boss got defeated. And the crowd went wild. They all yelled, not the bees! And like the boss died. And then he went on to the next thing. There were 2 other phrases they yelled at the screen, but I was falling asleep again and I missed them. But I wrote down the not the bees one because I was like, oh, this is great. It's going to be like, it's going to be like going to a cult movie. Then, and I'm glad we talked about this earlier, there was a rousing round of applause for getting a specific pattern for one of the bosses in the Wily stages, because apparently there's like a 80% chance that you could get a crappy pattern and it'll screw up your run. And it just so happened that this guy got the right pattern. And I believe it was the Blacktastic, because let me tell you, the Blacktastic mopped the floor with Slurpee Ninja. Mopped the floor with him. Like, I believe he came close to a world record in Mega Man 9. And Slurpee Ninja was like 4 minutes or something behind him. Like, it was crazy.
He just choked.
Yeah. So Slurpee Ninja apparently could not live up to the hype of performing in front of all these people, but he still had a ton of supporters because there was still a bunch of donations piling in saying, it's okay, Slurpee, we still love you, blah, 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 community, community, community. I
have a feeling those are fabricated. They're trying to push the senior Mega Man runners out, like Caleb Hart.
So I believe at this point, I think they were going to move on to either Mega Man 8 or 7, something like that at this point. And I was ready for another one, but my wife was done. She said, I cannot watch this anymore. This has been on for like almost 3 hours. You have to put something else on. So I decided to watch a drunk Russian girl play Mount Your Friends on Twitch instead.
And the wife loved it.
Yep. And it was actually fairly entertaining. That was the end of my AGDQ experience.
Wow.
It finished there.
That was it.
The Mega Man block.
Well, thanks for that, Tom. I appreciate you and your wife watching AGDQ.
Hope she doesn't leave you.
There are a couple things I want to hit on here. I wrote down here some other effing Mega Man race. The ponderous British man from last AGDQ is back reading donations. You may remember him from last year giving a rip-roaring start to AGDQ by recording aloud an endless array of cancer stories to Banjo-Kazooie. He also said something about supporting the troops who let us speedrun.
Oh, wow.
If he's right about
That's a good
that,
donation, Reed.
if he's right about that, it looks like I finally have a motivator to truly understand the hate for ISIS now. And I know, Chris, you watched this one, but I watched 5 minutes of this and I got about 5 notes. Half-Life 2.
Oh, yeah.
This came highly recommended by the users of Reddit, so I gave this a watch. They were doing a Rubik's Cube during a long cutscene, which is a great sight gag. And this guy, he sounds like a deflating balloon whenever he talks.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm amazing. So that's like really, really, really hard, and I'm really bad at it, and I got it first try, so I'm pretty happy about that.
And this guy's a hit with the GDQ crowd. He gives me a class clown vibe. This guy's named Noir. So, Chris, you wanna lead us into your thoughts under this run?
So I probably watched about 40 minutes of this, and I said immediately, Judge, I G-chatted him. I said, you got to see this kid. You got to at least hear his voice. Because like you said, most of my notes are about that. And not far different from yours about the class clown vibe he was giving off. I compared him to the wisecracking kid in a 90s kids sports movie. You know, like you have that redhead kid in Mighty Ducks.
First kid.
Yeah, first kid, the guy that makes the jokes. Yeah, like he's like one of those kind of characters to give you a feel. And he's really wormy. This is another note I had. He's really skinny and he kind of gives a wormy appearance. And Half-Life 2 has a lot of skips where you kind of cheese the geometry of the game and it makes your character kind of automatically float through the level.
Mm-hmm.
And every time this happened, he would do something zany, like you said, like make a Rubik's Cube, or he would go sit on the couch. He'd get up from his chair and go sit on the couch.
It was very prepared, a little overproduced. I don't know. You want to use that word?
Yeah, that's exactly the word. And I said, good for him. And every time in the future, when I think about maybe returning to one of these GDQs, because as we said, this is our last one, I'm going to remember this before I turn it on to stop myself from turning it on. That's the only note I have.
All right, so let's get to the juicy stuff. The story coming into this was that Big Jon was I don't know if you want to say banned. He was not allowed to run anything. And you don't know who this guy is, Tom, but he would have saved the whole event. Big Jon is a man who oozes charisma. We are big proponents of Big Jon. And he was at SGDQ, which is the event that always precedes this one. And he ran the Super Mario Lost Levels. You know, there were a lot of hints on Twitter that he wasn't going to run anything. And he even intimated that he wouldn't be allowed on the couch this year. So AGDQ rolls around and he has these tweets. And he says that he felt like he was a criminal with the security and police constantly staring at him and stopping him while trying to talk to people at AGDQ. He got stopped 7 times at AGDQ in the course of 13 hours. And they wanted to check to see if he was banned from the event or whatever. And so Big Jon went on to Twitch to explain a little bit further here. And I took notes on this. And, you know, I hope Big Jon doesn't get upset about us talking about this. But I think this kind of sheds some light into why Chris and I are so salty about this experience. AGDQ staff has given out pictures of people who have been banned from the event to their, quote, rent-a-cop staff. Big Jon is apparently a persona non grata for showing his game cartridge of golf at SGDQ 2015. So what happened, Tom, is that after Big Jon ran Lost Levels, he showed a NES cartridge of the NES game Golf, and he was trying to get it approved for AGDQ. What happened was they got like a big outpouring of donations, and the AGDQ staff like held this against him for 6 months. They blamed him. They thought he was like launching an attack on them to like get them to put NES Golf on the schedule. So Big Jon comes to AGDQ 2016. The staff there confronts him about this. They say that Big Jon distracted from his Lost Levels run at SGDQ 2015. He distracted from his own run, according to these people. And they meant to tell him in person, but they thought it'd be better to wait 6 months until he got to the event. And in the meantime, they were like rejecting him from running a game or being on a couch. And so I hate these spineless dweebs, first of all. But Big Jon went on to claim that he was stopped 7 times. He didn't think it was racist, but he eventually asked to talk to whoever was leading the event. And they said that a person named Cool Maddie is in charge of this event. And according to Big Jon, Cool Maddie claims that they're going to have a community-like event to express what they like or dislike about the GDQs, about whether or not they should go back to past GDQs. And I said, this sounds like a McCarthy hearing in disguise.
It's like a GDQ town hall.
Yes, I guess they feel like there's a lot of concern about the route that the GDQs are taking. And Big Jon went on to claim that when he first joined AGDQ, he made a thread, like doing an interest check for golf on the NES. And Mike Uyama apparently has some kind of anti-golf agenda, and he deleted this thread from the forum.
Because golf looks boring. They don't want to play sports games. They never play a sports game. You notice that?
Yeah, but they got to play every single Mega Man ever made.
Well, not only that, there was a run that took place on one of the earlier days, and it was after hours, and it was about a 2-hour long shmup, which is short for shoot 'em up. And this guy is apparently the only person who plays it, and so he got a world record, and he died like 1,000,000 times, and the time was like 2.5 hours, and he didn't have anybody else on the couch with him, so he recruited like random people. But so they apparently had time for this 2.5 hour game, but there's no time to put golf on this schedule. So it's a very, very bad atmosphere. And on top of this, Caleb Hart was also prohibited from running any game because he was late with the registration. Now, Caleb Hart is a very popular man in the community, and so is Big Jon. It would be like in the sports. It'd be like, LeBron James was late on signing his
contract
extension, so we're not going to let him play for the whole season. The NBA is going to lose millions of dollars if they don't have people like, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and
right,
Kobe Bryant, and Joe DiMaggio playing in all these things.
Yeah.
So you got to make exceptions for your stars, and you certainly can't go around treating them like this.
Mm-mm.
No.
I can't believe they did this. To your point, you can't treat your stars like this. They got the guy that can't talk on the couch.
Which is like 90% of the runners.
Exactly. And then meanwhile, they got their most charismatic personality rotting in a jail cell. While this is all going on. But he made it to the couch eventually, didn't he?
Well, I think there's a little bit of an outcry after all this came about, and so their friends, tried to get these people on the couch. And you do see Caleb every once in a while, and you do see Big Jon, but it was an ordeal to get them on the couch, and they couldn't run anything. And I'm willing to suspect that it's out of jealousy, because those two guys are among the favorites here at the Men Drinking Coffee. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's an effort to sabotage us by deleting, to use a computer term, these people from the sphere at large, because they're jealous.
They want to get
jealous. They're jealous of the charismatic people like Caleb and Big Jon, and they think it should be about the game, which I fundamentally disagree with.
It's about being entertaining to me.
Yes,
and it's certainly not. Maybe they wanted us to be like this, Judge. They wanted us to be dejected and done with the GDQ events and quit because we're just trolls in the community. We're just out here shaking it up, and they want us gone. We're troublemakers.
I've donated. I've donated in the past to AGDQ and SGDQ. I didn't donate this time, so who's laughing now? Huh? If that's the case, if they are truly trying to sabotage us, like, you lost a donor. You lost a donor.
That's unbelievable.
I would have died to see somebody run NES golf.
It would have been cool. That would have been
see?
a really charismatic guy doing it.
Yeah, why wouldn't they just do a whole bunch of insane games that like you can't possibly speedrun? Because A, it would have been hilarious, and B, it would have broken up all the monotony of these super technical games that are insane
First of
boring
all,
to
you
watch.
can speedrun NES Golf. Big John.
You could speedrun any game. You could speedrun Solitaire if you're
So
good
the
enough at
Spelunky
it.
runners, like, or the Spelunky devs' point is in line with us there, right? You want randomness. You want things that can go wrong. You want variety.
It's the spice of life.
And, playing Mega Man 8 hours straight is not variety.
Well, it happened on 2 non-consecutive days, so that's their response to you.
Let's play Mega Man 2 days straight, and while Big John rots in a cell. Unbelievable what they're doing. They're out to get us.
Tom, that's a glimpse into what's happening behind the scenes.
Politics.
And I won't even go into all the things surrounding Mike Uyama. This all started in his basement, and there are a lot of unseemly rumors about why he hasn't been around and things like that. But
And his basement.
yes. So, tonal shift here. Let's go to awards. I hope everybody has awards written up.
I definitely got some.
All right. Well, I'm going to start it off because clearly I haven't talked enough in the past 10 minutes, but my first award is for the most inappropriate way someone referred to cancer-related death in his or her own donation. And the winner of this was, quote, reached her game over too soon due to cancer, end quote.
I heard that one. That was Thursday night. Last night I heard that.
Presumably a family member reached their game over too soon thanks to the ultimate villain and end boss, cancer.
So, do you got any good cancer strats if it is the ultimate end boss? Nah, I'm joking. That's how they do it. They view everything like a video game. I hate it.
They're gamifying the world.
I'm tired of it.
That is a good point, though, that they're taking a lot of the seriousness away from the donations by making video game references for life.
So, Tom, do you got an award?
I do have an award, and this is about the only one I could come up with, just because so many things I watched were so similar. But the one award I have is the Bob Ross Award for most soothing run, sponsored by Twitch Creative.
Wow.
And the winner is Pokemon Yellow.
Wow.
Because this man softly talking about attacks and talking about crit chances and how to double the speed of your Pokemon so you get a better crit chance put me right to sleep.
In a nice way. In a good way.
And I feel like if in a very good way, and I feel like if Twitch wanted to capitalize and do some cross promotion, they'd want to promote their Bob Ross Mondays and give away the Bob Ross Award for most soothing run.
You can put a Bob Ross donation instead of there. You can put a painting up as a raffle prize.
Exactly, and the nerds would eat it up
I like that.
because they love them some Bob Ross now.
My first award is the runner most likely for me to fake a phone call to get out of conversation if he cornered and talked to me at a party.
Yes.
That's the Monkey Ball guy.
Oh,
Congratulations, Monkey Ball guy.
good choice. Good choice.
What award you got, Judge?
My next award was most fascinating thing a donator says the reader must do to get the donator to make more donations, which is pronounce the donator's name correctly. Nothing more fascinating than that.
I have my favorite donation message that was read. It was during Shovel Night. It said, love Shovel Night. Feels good, man.
All right. Well, to counter that, my next award was best use of $2,000. And I have here donating $2,000 to AGDQ anonymously with a donation of Do the Thing.
Oh, that's better than feels good, man.
Money well spent.
All right, so I have the best music played during the game setup.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Title theme.
That's a good one.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Was it the Metal Gear Solid main title?
I didn't have the sound up. I just saw title theme pop up when it announces the music playing.
Oh. Well, my next award was activity that does not look right even at a GDQ. And that goes to playing Nintendo DS in public.
Like those guys. Yeah.
Imagine the Street Pass numbers they got, though.
That's a good point.
They were probably off the charts.
Some people watch GDQ for the ads like me. Some people go to GDQ just for the Street Pass.
That's right. Only $50 to get in.
All the Street Passes you want for $50? Sign me up.
Exactly. All week. I think that's all week. It's $50.
You'd be a fool not to do it.
Exactly. Is that the beautiful and prestigious Washington Dulles Holiday Inn?
No.
Oh, is that where it was?
It was at some Washington Dulles airport hotel.
Our nation's capital. All the things they can go and do, and they elect to sit in a hotel and watch a man play Mega Man for 8 hours.
Oh, come on.
All right, so...
See, and this is why I'm so fascinated by the logistics, because there's some reference to meals on the website. So, like, do they provide food for all these people? Like, I'm really
breakfast.
interested in the logistics of going to ADG and like what you do all week while you're there if you choose to be there like 5 days in a row.
We've gotten insider info in the past, and they largely go to McDonald's. So my next award. The runner most likely to flaunt his success at his high school reunion. And that is Nor, that played Half-Life 2.
Wow. Well, I also awarded an award to Nor, who was the guy who ran Half-Life 2. But my reward was the Crash Bandicoot Memoriam Award, parenthetical, died by committing suicide.
You want to explain the meaning of this award?
No.
All right. So my next award. Runner most likely to be the next Jay Leno. That's Nor.
Wow.
And then I want to give one more out here. Runner most likely to have odd habits, like eating jelly by itself on a plate. I also awarded that to Nor.
He swept that award.
Man.
Now, Tom, I think you might appreciate this one because I've been watching AGDQ for quite some time. Meme I will never understand the origin of or why it's funny. Saying some game is your favorite, quote, Final Fantasy. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what it means. I don't know why it's funny. I actually Googled it to try to find out where it came from, and you can't Google it. So even me, wow. I don't understand that meme.
My favorite Final Fantasy. What is your favorite Final? No. So my next award.
Okay.
The hero of it. This is my final award. The hero of AGDQ.
Yes.
And I awarded it to the Mexican runner. Because he freed Big Jon and put him on the couch.
He did.
And he is a good man for doing that.
I agree. So that was the final AGDQ or SGDQ, any GDQ, whatever you want to call it. It's the last time we're going to be doing this, so I hope you had fun. Tom, thank you for putting your wife through this. I appreciate it. Diaper, thank you for putting your wife through it.
I didn't put her through it this year. I watched it on a laptop with headphones on when I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I need to preserve my marriage. Marriage first, speedrun second. That's my motto.
Well, yeah, I could never do it again, so I'm glad this is the last one we're doing.
Oh, yeah. My patience is gone. So, all right. Well, it's what they always say. The perfect blend is watching a GDQ with friends. Thanks for listening.